Hello and welcome back to Tuesday's vlog. Just a clip of fingers like that, and that's me last holiday of the season gone. I'll just say to Holly, I will say one thing this weekend. With it not being as hot as it has been the last few, it's been lovely weather, but it makes setting up and packing away a whole lot less stressful. We got back last night, and I said to Marco, "You got to admit," I said that was I don't know if it was because it was the Queen's funeral and the roads were quiet, the campsites were quiet, all the rest of it, but it just seemed to go a lot better than it normally does. So yeah, in the street carry on. Luckily, we got there and it was dead. Happy days, got the caravan on the drive. I'm not joking you, within 1 hour of, from the minute we pulled up to just about finished, all of the cars, which I didn't want in particular places, all turned up, plus more. I think somebody was having some kind of a family gathering or something. So happy days. And we were going to stay back till 3, 4, 5 o'clock at the campsite. And I said to Holly, I says, nah, so I'll tell you what, we'll get back a bit earlier. And that was probably the best decision of the day. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. We've got my trip to, the safari one I've been going on about. Got that to do. Unless I get some last minute offer or something, we might go away again, but I don't know. We'll see how things go. It is getting a bit cold on an evening now. It's mainly for the dogs. The kids, they're fine. They're in bed comes kind of 7 o'clock, but the dogs, we can't have them in the caravan all the time, and it's getting a little bit too cold for them to be left outside, So yeah, we'll get on with what's in this week. I'm going to say now at the beginning of the week, it is that busy. I'm only going to be able to give you little snippets of what's in. Most of the time, it'll just be me talking, saying this is in for this, that's getting done, and I'll maybe do a quick video afterwards saying that's after it's been done. And a lot of jobs like servicing, that isn't a great deal to see when it's been done, so to speak. But honestly, this week we're fully booked anyways, and we've had 3 cars booked in on top of actually being fully booked, which I would never do. So we'll go through quickly what we've got in. You'll have seen this S-Type before. It's a very, very early one on a T-Reg, and it's our landlord's car, and his son's car was his car. This is on, if you type in S-Type on my videos, I've done a review and everything with this. It's a cracking car. But the son was saying occasionally when he's going to start it, it's just making a clicking noise. The battery's fine. It stood here all weekend, and I mean all weekend, from Friday afternoon, and it's now Tuesday morning, and it's starting first time every time. So the only thing is with this, I'll just show you on. That starter motor sounds really healthy as well, and the battery. So the only thing is with this being obviously an auto, there's all sorts of sensors and switches on the gearbox which stop you from starting it. The ignition on them can be a bit temperamental, so it's one of those things. It's not your average Vauxhall Corsa. I think the starter motor is nearly 250 quid, something like that, for argument's sake. I haven't got the invoice to hand. So it's one of them jobs where, and I bet you we're going to put it on the lift. I don't know, never done one, can't tell you. We've worked on enough of these over the years, but I don't know where it is. If it's easy enough to do, might be worth doing it. But you can't really test starter motors as such. You can test them for certain things, but when they're intermittent like this, sometimes they just need a clean. But 9 times out of 10, they're a nightmare to get off, to just simply clean. If you go to the effort of taking them off, you may as well replace them, especially on a T-Reg car. What's that, 1999, 98, something like that. So yeah, this is a bit of one of those jobs that if it was anybody else, I don't like taking on. But we're being my landlord, he's a nice guy, we're going to look at it. But maybe clean some terminals, do another check on the battery, but that battery sounds spot on. Again, one of those jobs where you just don't want to land yourself into charging somebody for something. They give them it back, a couple of days later, the same day, a few hours later, it starts to click and not start. The only thing we can do is use it ourselves. As in, starting it round the garage if we need to run up home, which David wouldn't mind, he's a good guy. But what I don't want to happen is a flipping 2-ton Jag decides not to start when you're out, at somebody's door or wherever, and then you've dug yourself a hole, really, haven't you? You're stuck having to get it recovered. So in these Jags, with them being as big and heavy, the average transit pickup and stuff, you need to call out the heavyweights, you know, like, so you get into a big problem. So that's that one. Got this in. This is one of Holly's relatives. This is in for service and MOT. Nothing to report. It's your Renault Capture, what you'll have seen a million times before, your K9K engine, which you get in the Mercedes. So there you go. And funny enough, our granddad owns the Mercedes with that engine in, and they even cannot believe they're the same engine. So yeah, these are a funky little thing. I don't even know what they're based on. Maybe like a Clio, Megane, like high up. It seems to be the new thing that they do. But her dad's got like conditions and stuff, and they are good for getting people in, because they've got I do agree with that. They have got a nice kind of sidestep to be able to get somebody in, compared to say like that Jag where you're like on the floor. So yeah, little Capture there, MOT and service. The usual K9Ks they have a good engine, I've told you. Probably the top 5 best diesel engines made. Injectors can be problematic, but, you know, I'm struggling to even find a thing down there. There's the oil filter there. I don't even know if the camera's picking that up. Probably can't. I don't even know if you can see that there. That one little shiny bit there is the oil filter, and it's a full metal screw-on thing. Absolute disgrace, these engines, for that, and they have been for years for the oil filter. Air filter's done. Fuel filter was done last year, is a separate job. You've got to take the wheel off and all the wheel arch liner off. Quite a big job, but that doesn't need done. I'm going to have to quickly go outside. It's raining. I think I showed you this maybe on Friday's vlog, which I haven't yet uploaded. This is having handbrake shoe issues. We've got this car all week, thankfully, but I've managed to locate it to this side here. There's a drum within the disc for the handbrake. So in here, something's gone wrong, so we need to strip all that out and find out what's going on. And what I have got for that up there on top of the Astra is a handbrake shoe kit. And I don't know why, there's 2 lots of shoes come. One of them says something weird, like a flipping Toyota or something. I remember it caught me eye the other day. Obviously, they're Toyota RAV4 and Renault, and a Nissan Qashqai. I know for a fact they don't share things right there. That one there, Toyota RAV4 for a Nissan Qashqai. Didn't know they shared the same brakes. But there's the kit there. I think what's happened is these little spring clips here have rusted away to nothing, and the shoes are loose inside. Until you open them up, you just don't know. So that's that. And just quickly, I'll show you this little Fiesta. I'll just go grab the key for it, actually, because something I was going to show you. It actually looks quite tidy, and as you know, Fiestas, Yaris's, definitely in my top 5 good little cars. Axle bushes go on the back on them, but bar that, good little cars. I think this is an EcoBoost, though. Is it or not? No, it's not. So it's actually a good little car, this. It's got these 4D gel plates on. They're okay for the test, but I don't see the attraction to them. I don't know why people put them on, but I don't know. They are legal, they're fine, perfectly fine. But I'll show you on the front why I'm not so keen. But this on here, somebody's done like an upgrade. See the mirrors, how they've got the... Back in the day, if Boy Racer did that, it would be a questionable whether it would be a pass for the MOT, because it's not flashing, it's just like it does like a flick kind of thing. But now, since all the new cars are doing it, there's no reason why you would ever fail them. Just a bit annoying, isn't it? Like, back in the day, that's something I would have fitted to one of my cars. And, you know, you would have gotten wrong for being a boy racer, for modifying something. But now, the fact that everybody's doing it, all the manufacturers, there's absolutely no reason. That's 100% pass. You wouldn't even consider it. But this plate on the front here, I think they're older plates off another car, something. Who are they called? Carbon plates. But if you look, it's like an off-white compared... I know the car is bright white, but that plate is very... You know when they call them tinted plates? That isn't tinted by any means. It's a 100% pass. Not even anything near advising, and you wouldn't get wrong off the police. But it's just with the way the car's white, that would do my head in. I mean, a normal plate is that kind of white. Just look like an off-yellowy white colour. So, yeah, this is just in for basic MOT. It looks really tidy, to be quite honest, so hopefully we won't have any problems with it. So, there we go. I'll show you it later if it's on the lift. I'll just come in, out the rain. that's nearly 10 minutes, so I'll leave that there because it's so busy this week. If I just do a quick snippet of every car we've got in, it's going to add up. So yeah, I've got an X-Trail to pick up from my dad's. I've got an Astra that's been left at mine. So just today alone, we've got that in for service and MOT, the Jag in to look at the starter, the Qashqai maybe to get on the back lift and strip, that Fiesta for MOT, again we don't know what it needs. We've got a Nissan X-Trail in for a full service, and an Astra in for a front caliper and one pad. Normally I change the pads in pairs, but it's had brand new discs and pads less than 500 mile ago, and one side the caliper has absolutely seized up. I always see something come out and freed it off, but the disc, I've had it for a test drive, hasn't warped. The pads, since of getting so hot, it's advisable that I'm definitely going to change them along with the caliper. You would always change discs and pads in pairs, always, but it's the fact that the other side has only done 500 mile, and it's the same brand, because we did it before the car stood in storage. So that's it. I'm going to crack on now. We've got loads of running about to do, picking up, dropping off, and that kills a lot of our time. But unfortunately, to keep people happy, keep things right, we have to do it. But this running about really does take up a lot of time. Oh, I'm going to get a quick coffee, because it's now 10:30 and we're hardly even on my way to how we need to be. So I need to crack on, get some work done, and I'll catch you guys soon. Right, just a quick update before we move some cars around. Well, pick some cars up. The Jag, I'm leaving it running because it's been perfect on cold starting. So I'm letting it run, getting it nice and hot, and I'm going to stop it and leave it and try it a few times. So that's where we are with that. Capture's ready to go, that's finished. When I was showing you around this car before, I didn't realise, my dad's just said it's got 22,000 mile on for we got a 10-year-old, a 10-year-old car. And it's obviously we're doing my little usual bits, the bottom of the shockers, the pipes where they rot, but it's in good nick. Look at the back of the chassis on this, here. It just shows you though, looking after a car and mileages, they really do work. You know, it does, you know, along the body here, obviously coated the subframe with a bit of grease, the pipes, but it's all these little bits that we do as part of, in fact, this car's only in for MOT. We'll add a little bit onto the bill, of course, for the time, but all these little bits we do here is just what keeps the cars going. And it doesn't make us, people say, well, why bother, because you're talking yourself out of money. I don't want to be doing a subframe. I don't want to be doing back axles and stuff like that. There's no money in it, it's just faff. So that's what I'm saying. When you say you want a cheap job done, or, you know, this will be not a massive amount of money added on. Bit of labour, a little bit for materials. And this is why I like to do my channel, because there's videos. If anybody ever questions it, you can see for yourself. So there you go. I just thought I would show that. Got the Qashqai, cash cow people call them, on the lift. I just want to show you these back arms, which on this one are actually in good nick. So even though this lady only wants the handbrake sorted out, I'm going to coat these, and I just put it down on the bill as consumables, because it costs an absolute fortune when these things rot through. And she's quite lucky for a, without coming back out, 13 plate car. The price of these have come down, like my dad mentioned, even from Nissan, but the fact is they're still a pig of a job to do. All these arms, everything, they're just a nightmare. And actually, believe it or not, what we're on with here, the handbrake shoes, are a flipping bright pain. So we'll get this wheel off. I'm not touching that side because it's fine. We're just going to deal with the problem, which is this wheel, strip it all down and just see what's actually going on with it. So that's that. I just wanted to show you this. I haven't had it on the channel for a little while. The old Astra. This is actually running with no alternator, no brakes, red diesel, doesn't get used on the road, and I'll just open the bonnet. Almost 200,000 mile. The alternator is disconnected, it's not charging, there's no charge going through it. What else is there? God knows what else disconnected, just to keep it running. And it sounds sweet as a nut. And that battery is basically flat. Air conditioning still works on it, it's absolutely up the tits. I feel, do you know what it is? If it rains today a little bit, I'm going to give it, even though I'm busy, it needs a good wash. I can't stand abusing. Oh, the back exhaust isn't connected. It's just, as you can hear, rattling around. Like I've said, no alternator, no charge going through it. And do you know what it is? It doesn't even bring a bloody engine warning light up. Look at the state of that dashboard. That's disgusting, that. I feel so bad. I was at 187,000. We'll give it a little rev. Sounds sweet. Heard the turbo? Not even any smoke. You can hear the pressure of the turbo. She's still kicking out a good bit of boost. Obviously it's running on red diesel, so it will be a little bit smoky. But like I've said, guys, check the reg when this was last MOT'd and on the road. It isn't getting used before we get the old red diesel carry on. It hasn't been on the road for about... You guys check for us. Put that reg, T136 KBU. Let me know on the videos. I think it's about 2015, maybe, somewhere around there since its last MOT. I don't think it gives you a date for the zone, but I'm sure it hasn't been on the road for at least, that'll be 8 years, maybe. In fact, I'm going to have a look. If you don't do it, I'll have a look by the end of the week. So it'll be nice to see in the messages, somebody can stick that reg in and tell us. If not, I will by Friday and find out myself. And I'll report back to you if it rains and I give it a wash. And it sounds stupid. My partner laughs at me, but when you can't be bothered to get all the gear out, the best thing you can do, not in the winter, obviously, because it's freezing, but in the summer, if you want to give your car a quick wash, run yourself a hot soapy bucket of water and get yourself out and start washing your car when it's pouring a rain. It's the best thing you can do, trust us. It saves you getting the hose out, it rinses it all off, and to be honest, for me, in my house, the amount of time it takes me to rock everything back up, put it away into because I don't have a garage, into the house, it's a nightmare. So if you want to do a quick, non-professional wash, stick a raincoat on in the summer when you get a bit of a downpour and wash your car. I swear to God, once it dries, the results aren't actually too bad for what you would think. So we'll leave that there. I'm going to get the wheel off. I'm actually going to stick that Astra on charge because it just about started, and leave that outside for the day. Turn this Jag off short. In fact, we'll go across now. We'll do a live check. I'm just curious to see. So obviously it's running, as you can see, and we'll see what it does. You can't hear it over that diesel because it's nice and quiet. Off. Perfect. I don't know, guys. What would yous do? I don't want to go sticking a flipping nearly £250 starter motor, plus probably I would imagine a lot of labour onto that. And I don't want to take it out the yard either for it to pack up. Maybe worth giving it back to the guy, telling him to run it for the week. And if it does break down, just to arrange recovery back here. It's a lot of money to be spending on something that's not showing a fault. Clearly we're going to put it on the lift, check the terminals, check for any loose connections, and go from there. But that starter motor and battery sounds as, in my record of listening to these things, as strong as ever. But doesn't mean it's not got a problem with the solenoid on it not popping out, because that's what it sounds like when he says it's clicking. But it has got a bit of a dicky transmission gator. It is getting a bit tight sometimes and stiff. I think it could be down to that, not the starter. But we'll leave that there. We'll get a few things picked up. I'll get back to you soon. Right, guys, this is kind of what this is going to be. Quick snippets through the week, as and when we get on with stuff. So, this is the Jag. We've had it up on the lift. I'll show you in a sec. I just want to show you this engine. These are a coping engine. I've worked on these for a lot of years. Annoying getting the spark plugs out at this side, but once you do them once, they don't need done that regular. So I just thought I'd show you the nice Jaguar 3-litre V6. Definitely the best in my opinion. You can get the V8, I think the 4.2, I think the 3-litre V6. Trust us, is more than adequate for one of these vehicles. But yeah, I'll take it up now. So here we go, it's on the lift. Just thought I would just show you for a T-Reg S-Type. If any of you guys out there are experts or know anything about these, have a look at that. T-Reg 1990, I think, is it 1999, 98 T-Reg? I should know because that's a T. But this may look a little bit surface rust here, but trust us, this is really good for one of these. Really good. Obviously somebody's been on in the past trying to jack it up, not us. But yeah, a lot of money's worth there, them cats, I'll tell you. Everyone's on the nick for them at the minute. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the starter motor. I'll get a light so you can see better. As you can see, it's buried next to the main steering rack control valve there. That's it just there. I don't know if you can see the red terminal on it above that green wire. So again, we've greased it up. Obviously, we've checked that these are, sprayed a bit of grease in them. We've also took out the grommet and sprayed in high pressure air to see if there was any dust or anything. But it's still going to be a canny job. We're going to have to get in from the back of here. You can just see the back of the starter motor up there, can you? Let's just see if I can get it in better. That red connection and that piece of rusty metal, that's the back of the starter. So what we've explained to them is we're not too happy about doing a job like this when it's not going to be a 5-minute job. It'll be a couple of hours of faffing about in there. And with starter motors, once you've got it off, you can take the 3 bolts off, the electrical connections, but it's physically getting the thing out of there. And even around the back here, you've got the alternator in your way here. So, like a lot of these jobs, getting them off is hard enough, but getting them out is harder again. I feel that the subframe may need to be dropped. But, anyways, that's what I just wanted to run through there. I'm not too happy. The fact that this has not done it. I stopped and started about 30 times on Friday. On and off, went a bit hot and cold. When it was really hot, when it was cold, never did it. Stood from Friday afternoon till Tuesday morning, which is now. Started first time. 10 times I've done it this morning on the lift. We've stopped and started it on there. I'm just not overly convinced it is the starter. There's not really any proper tests I can do up there. So unfortunately, it's going to have to go out and just be tried a little bit more. If it does it again, we've got the starter motor here. Fully intend on changing it. Just there. As you can see, it's quite a lump to get out of that gap, as you've seen. That's what the whole thing looks like. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue, that. So really, I'm going to bring this down now, and we'll try it again when we get sorted. So we'll see what happens. I want to show you. Obviously, we've got the Qashqai up here, and while we're talking about the Qashqai, so before we start work, obviously I've moved this out the way. Before I start work, I'm going to do an oil filter and air filter on this, because I had a major service 15,000 miles ago, so it won't need the fuel filter done. But first up, what car do you think this is, apart from obviously I've already told you? To me, this looks identical to a Qashqai, a new Qashqai, the newer version to that. But it isn't, it's an X-Trail. I'm not really keen on that, because to me, an X-Trail should look like an X-Trail, and this just looks like a Qashqai. But I'm not pulling it down altogether here. Here is out. This has got the latest Renault 1600 diesel DCI in, which isn't too bad, to be quite honest. I'll see if I can just get my hand in. That's here, obviously a Renault. Don't forget the Nissan. We all know Renault own Nissan, so everything is Renault, not Nissan. But yeah, it's not a bad little engine, this one, I have to admit. Obviously all I'm going to do, which is, that looks quite simple, but it's a right royal pain to do that air filter. It's because you've all these plastic clips and everything are really cheap and nasty, and if any of them break, they start to rattle really badly. The fuel filters are quite expensive on this, but since it had a major one done, then I'm not going to bother touching that for now, so it'll just be an oil and filter, an air filter. But away from the work, obviously it's got all the radar cruise control on it, which, as you can see, is this like gel badge with a radar behind it. Top spec car, this, all the chrome, it's got everything. Self-park, we'll go have a look at this inside. Blind spot monitoring, it's got cameras everywhere, obviously a camera under each mirror. There'll probably be a one in the front somewhere there, and there'll be one in the back. So it's got what you call a 360 package. Let's have a look in there, there we go. Yeah, so it's got all the cameras everywhere on it. And again, if I hold that, self-opening boot. Now, different to the X-Trail will be to the Qashqai evening, this is a lot bigger car. As the boot's coming down on my head there, it's not very good. There you go, there's your quality, you see. This is where I'm going to get to, with, to me, not being proper Nissan. So I did a self-open there. We'll do it again, by hand, so it opens for you. But watch, I stuck my head in there for a minute, goes up, and then it comes down, and nearly brazy you in the head. So there you go, 18 plate car, and stuff going wrong. So now, that's bang on, right in my face. So now I've got to duck under to show you what I'm showing you. So obviously in the back, I've already showed you one of these, the slightly older version. I do like, I mean, it does scratch, don't get us wrong, but I do like all of the plastics in here, because that's exactly what you want in the back when you're putting dogs in. Fantastic idea for me. But if everybody's not forgetting something, we'll have what you call the Qashqai Plus 2. Now, I'm sure that these X-Trails are just the Qashqai Plus 2, but without the actual seatbelts in the back. So I don't know if you're aware, they do a Qashqai Plus 2, which is a 7-seater Qashqai with that slightly bigger at the back. So to me, I'm just not sure if you're paying a lot of extra money for an X-Trail, and everything feels, looks, and everything just like a Qashqai. Not that shape, the current shape. Naturally, this is 4-wheel drive, but you do get the 4-wheel drive Qashqais as well. So unfortunately, I think an X-Trail is just a Qashqai Plus 2 4-wheel drive. So yeah, but anyways, that's the bit around the back. Obviously, the boot system is crap, and this is what I'm getting into here. So again, fully specced out like you wouldn't believe this thing. Obviously, all tinted windows from the factory, full opening, which is nice to see, an actual opening panoramic roof, I think. Yes, it is, which is nice to see. But you have to remember, Renault have been in all the development of this, and you just know they ain't going to last. Believe it or not, heated back seats, but I'm a little bit confused by it, which I'll show you when we get to the front. Rear ventilation, not the best. I like to see a bit of extra here. In the centre seat here, these are a disgrace when they call these a centre seat. I remember as a child travelling in the back of a CRV, and cars alike, these centre seats are crap if you've got to go any far distance. Yes, it's all good for making them fold and having a centre rest and the seats folding down, but for a centre passenger, when they start with this cape, or like a little bench thing, and all this on your back for long distances, you know, it's just not good. But anyways, that's around to here. You've got all, obviously, the fake carbon fibre stuff and nice soft touch leather where it needs to be soft touch, which is nice. So you've got all the blind spot monitoring, which we'll get in. I'll show you. I'll go around the front a little bit. The diamond cut wheels, full LED dip beam and high beam. Don't get us wrong, they're a nice enough looking car, but it's just too much like a Qashqai for me. And unfortunately, that's where my interest, well and truly, is not here with this car. Obviously, you've got the what you call it, the keyless entry. So we'll jump in. Obviously, full electric, adjustable seats, and again, nice to see Bose sound system. But you know what really pees me off with that? Cheap, nasty plastic, and then a Bose sticker stuck in the middle of it. Like that Renault, which we don't have, my dad's Renault. Make something of this. Make this like a nice stainless steel. Put a unique pattern into it. Make it just slapping on a Bose sticker like that. What does that mean? You know, fair enough, they've upgraded the speakers, but I think it's a bit of a cheap upgrade. Bearing in mind, an X-Trail is a high-end car, you know. It's like one of the top Nissan make. Nice, soft touch leather where it needs to be. But again, is it just me? Let's switch this car on. 30,000 mile just clicked. Is it just me? But does this steering wheel, it looks hellishly worn. Really badly worn. Let's go around. That is shined up like a flipping 100,000 mile wheel. Whether or not that's maybe the style of it, but it certainly looks worn for the miles. Same with the gear stick. But yeah, so anyways, into here, got all of the sat-nav stuff, which you want. All the climate control system, not a bad system. Automatic handbrake, not keen, but you get that on old stuff with self-hold. Again, nice soft touch leather where you want it to be. Hands up, that's good. But here, we've got front heated seats, and it says rear heated seats. Low and high, but I thought that would have been two. Obviously, left-hand rear, right-hand rear, but it's just one. So does that just mean it's just the driver's side rear one that's heated, or does it mean it's both of them? And it would be nice, like we've seen in the Hyundais and stuff, for the rear seat passengers to decide this. You know, giving them a control on each door so they can control each side. So the only thing is with this, it means it's a good feature, but it just means everybody has to have them on, or nobody sharing it. Not keen on that. There's a space for an extra switch, or just put the controls in the back. But whatever, nice spec. Auto dipped in mirror, full panoramic roof, which obviously opens with an electronic blind, I think. Yeah, we'll have an automatic blind. I'm not going to touch things like that. All of the cameras up here, so you've got, yes, I'll just start it up because I'm pulling it in anyway. So you've got your speed limit, it gives you all the fancy needle sweep and everything, but just all Qashqai in here. You don't get the feel you bought anything more than a Qashqai. And I would like to give you, I would like to go on the price books, but I can guarantee you a Qashqai plus 2 4-wheel drive will be a lot cheaper than an X-Trail top of the range like this one. I don't even know what the name of it is, so don't ask, but it's the premium spec. I don't think they bring these out any higher spec than this, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, the only thing it hasn't got is the heated windscreen, which they've pinched from Ford, which I do know the newer Qashqais have, so it's lacking that. But yeah, here you've got all like the speed limit, camera, pickups, you've got all the sat nav comes onto there, Bluetooth, you name it, all the connectivity there. But again, just the quality. You've obviously got electric fold mirrors, blind spot monitoring, which are these lights here. You've got even a heated steering wheel, stop start, obviously the electronic boot opening, lane assist. But what I don't like, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but when you bring the window up, I don't know if you can see, I don't think that shows on camera, but the whole door card moves. When the window goes up, you actually see the whole door card flexing and moving. You just, look at that, it hasn't got that. Like, this whole door panel is just, you can see the whole, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just not, you know, like that. It's just very, very cheap, nasty, the plastics that they put into these things, which is unfortunate, because otherwise they're not too much of a bad car. But yeah, I just want to do a quick little review on this and just run through all the gizmos and gadgets it's got, which is nice, you know. But for me, not for me, unfortunately, and I wouldn't recommend one to anybody, because, yeah, I don't know, it's just too much Renault. We're not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes here, because we know Renault own Nissan, but you'd think Nissan would put a bit more of their style into it. But yeah, just thought I would do a quick review of this. All I'm going to do is oil filter, air filter. I can't record doing it, I need to crack on. Just thought I'd do a little bit of a walk round review, like I told you, on interesting, different kind of cars, and give my opinion. If you agree with it, leave a comment. If you don't, leave a comment. I'm happy to answer you back. I'm just going off my knowledge. I've worked on these Qashqais and X-Trails for a long time. They're probably not going to rot nowhere near as bad as the old ones, the original ones, but I don't feel it. I think I'd rather have a RAV or a CRV or something, I don't know, an Outlander. I'm just not sure I would pick one of these. It doesn't have that feel of quality. It does just feel like a Renault, which you're not paying Renault prices for. Leaving this here, otherwise we're going to be into massive long videos. I need to crack on, get on with this servicing, get the Jag Tug back when my dad's finished MOT, Fiesta MOT, Qashqai to strip down the rear brakes on, and the Astra to pick up from my house to do the front caliper and pads. Catch you soon, guys. Right, just quickly, I'll show you this X-Trail. I've done the service. X-Trail, I may as well just call it a Qashqai, because a few little developments here. So first up, you've got your nasty, cheap plastic cover that doesn't give you any protection whatsoever. But what I have done with this, I've protected all that when I've had it off. All the subframe, the front subframes on these are literally made of paper. So I've coated it all with protection. But more shockingly is, you know, you've got your usual rubbish on the exhaust. Something was missing. The prop shaft. So the whole point you would buy a X-Trail over a Qashqai would be because it's the off-road one. That's the whole point of the X-Trail over the Qashqai, even though Qashqais do offer the 4-wheel drive. Like I'm saying, the Qashqai plus 2, the 7-seater version with 4-wheel drive, I've said all along, is an X-Trail. But clearly now X-Trail offer in the range a 2-wheel drive version. So this is not 4-wheel drive, hence no diff. So I'm a little bit confused by this car. Now, the Qashqais, after, believe it or not, this was one of the very last ones on a 13 plate. After 63 to a 14 plate, they got rid of this shit idea on the back where these rear arms rot out. They got rid of it. They've designed a totally new rear suspension system, which I give the thumbs up to the newer shape Qashqais. Spot on. Remember, 13 plate car. Well, 14 plates where the decent ones start from. Now, this is an 18 plate car. And the X-Trail still carries on to use the same crap. So they've updated the Qashqai because they knew it was a problem. But they never bothered with the X-Trail. So I would strongly recommend you walk away from these when they get older. So yeah, I've coated these arms. These rot out so badly, by the way. Coated these, coated them. of getting around the other side and all that of it. But yeah, so it kind of confuses me a little bit. Why would you buy an X-Trail? Especially the fact that it isn't even four-wheel drive, which is odd. So you've got like Nissans, apart from the top range, the best sort of small off-roader that they do, that isn't even four-wheel drive. I would have thought the X-Trail would have been compulsory four-wheel drive. Otherwise, just get a Qashqai plus 2. It's exactly the same car. There's very, very little difference. It's all the same Qashqai front. As you can see, these awful front arms, which never last 5 minutes, and as you can see, starting to crack and perish. There, already with 30,000 mile on. And they're genuine Nissan ones. Don't know if you can see properly in there. But yeah, fortunately, I used to like the old X-Trails before they started dropping to bits, but these things, definitely not. There's the one before this, which was acceptable to be the way that they are. In fact, the other one I work on is a bit older, but at least it's four-wheel drive, and it has got the old system like this on the back suspension, but it's a much older car. So I can't understand why they modified the Qashqai around 2014, because for known fault with these arms being very expensive and weak, and then yet they've carried on the X-Trail above, because there's another shape before that one, to this current one, and never bothered. God knows. I'm going to get on now anyways, check the oil that it's the correct level, and that's it, finished. Get it out, reset the service light. By the way, with these, you've got to use the proper grade of oil, the RN0720. You've got to use that with these Renault engines. If you don't, you will cause problems. And the 1500 K9K engine, which is in this Qashqai, always use it. So anyways, I'm going to get on, get this Astra on the lift, get the wheel off, and have a look, try and get the caliper off, and get this one. See, this mine night tonight. It's 4 o'clock now. By the time I get that finished, it'll be 5:30. Then I'm going to have to run up to a place called Linton, which is quite a distance from where I am, and get a lift back home. Probably not even get a chance to walk the dogs. So yeah, this is how our kind of week goes. But at least we've getting rid of the Jag, rid of the Astra. Once we're rid of this, we're getting rid of all the stuff that's staying, because tonight we've got a Transit staying in. And as of tomorrow, we've got a big high-top Mercedes Sprinter for the whole week to try and fit in here. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy one. But I'm not complaining. I like being busy. Money's coming in. Happy days. You can't complain. You could be complaining if you're sat on your arse waiting for the phone to ring, twiddling your fingers with nothing to do. So, don't panic. Don't get yourself worked up, Dan. It's good to see that you're busy. Yeah, it is. But when there's only two, we do miss old Joe, because every time we've got to lock up, like we went and got the Jag, the Capture, back to mine, bringing the Astra in, picking up this Qashqai this morning, etc., etc. All that time we've got to close the garage, and in them times we're missing deliveries. So anyways, let's talk more on my work. So I'll catch you when I'm on with the Astra. Right guys, it's 5:30. As I've mentioned, I've got to drop this car off, so I'm out on a test drive now. Just thought I'd just quickly show you. I couldn't show you doing any work, so in the Astra, you might remember this spot from where I revealed the Audi, the A6, because yeah, this is the same spot, because this is the Astra that was in question. With it standing in the garage, one of the calipers had getting a bit tight, so nice new caliper on there. As you can see, the disc did get hot, but I've checked it over, and it doesn't actually seem to, but there's definitely no wobbling on the wheel or through the pedal, so luckily it hasn't warped the disc. So it's just going to be a case of bedding these pads in, new caliper on, happy days. So that's that, and that is obviously we have actually decided to fit the full set of pads to it as well, so a new set of pads in there just to be sure, since the other ones got hot. That's it guys, that's the end of Tuesday's vlog. I feel like I've done a whole week's worth of vlogging just in one day, but it's going to be like this for the rest of the week to come. So it might be a long one, this one, but if that's what you want, please say. If you don't want to see it, I won't. But I'm only adding in what comes in, what goes out, and what I'm doing. So I'm going to crack on, get to this bloke's house. He's got to run me back to the garage, got to walk the dogs home, and I'll probably end off maybe seeing my daughter before she goes to bed. But that's unfortunately part of working life. You can't have it all, can you? So, right, I'm going to crack on, and I'll catch you on tomorrow on Wednesday's vlog. Hello guys, and welcome to Wednesday's vlog. And as you've seen, I've got all sorts in today, hence it's going to be quick. I've already done a lot of the work. I'll just have to show you this as and where I can, because I've got a few things to pick up. As you've seen last night, I was working late, and I got cracked on the day, and there's still another job being chucked in on top of an already fully booked day. But I simply can't say no to some people because they're that good of customers. So, first up, this vehicle. Transit Custom. Now, this is a proper Transit Custom because it's been customised. I've already showed you this on the channel, but I have to admit, if I was going to go and spend considerable money, I would be tempted to get one of these. It's just unfortunate that the Eco Blue engine that are in these are absolute garbage. Really bad engines. So, if I did buy one, it would have to be brand spanking new with 0 miles on the clock and absolutely service it to death. A one with anything more than 10, 20,000 mile on, I wouldn't touch it because you just don't know if it's been serviced, if it's been housed around as a builder's van or a works van. So it have to be brand new. But apart from that, if I could get one brand new, these are great. For what I've been up to, they've been over at the continent and they've stuck these awful things on the headlamp lenses, which really does obscure the beam pattern, which is technically an MOT. This is in for MOT, by the way. So I've already told you, if you've got any product on your lens sticky, do not scratch and scrape on. Use some regular hand sanitizer, alcohol gel, rub it in, leave it, then come back, put a bit more rub in, and it will just wipe off. And these headlamps have cleaned up lovely. As you can guarantee, somebody would have been on with them, scraping on, damaging all the headlamps to the point where they're knackered. So this one, top spec one, it's got all the parking sensors in, front fogs, all the cornering lights, heated windscreen, electric folding mirrors. Let's see if they fold in. Nah, sometimes the Fords don't. So obviously they are electric folding mirrors with the indicators in. But what I love about this one, it's been properly converted by, I don't know if you can see that in the glass, by Ford. But obviously, again, the back window's open. So you've got the nice big bulkhead in the back with a window in, but yet with a cage, just so you can keep an eye on whatever you've got in the back. 3 seats nicely in the back. Nice big comfy seats, nice easy step in. Got lights in the back, obviously, as you can see. One in the middle there. In a walkthrough thing there, but that's the biggest down point of this van. If it was mine, I would have the seat in the middle. It would be a 6-seater, because really, you can fit the same in a Nissan Micra as this van, so it's kind of a little bit pointless. Yeah, you've got all the space, but I would like it to be at least a 6-seater, to be quite honest with you. But you see, this is like the captain chair one, you know. So again, opening windows in the back. 2, there's a sliding door to the other side. I'll come to the front in a second. And in the back, this is fantastic. It's even got the reversing camera as well. Obviously, it's got the kind of tailgate. So when you're at the back, having a picnic or whatever, or sitting when it's raining, you've got that huge area there, which shelters you from the rain. The only downside is if you reverse in a car park and you want to put your shopping in the back, there's no way you'll be able to get that boot open when there's a car park close to you. So that's the downside. But again, look at that in there, man. There's how many? 1, 2, 3 bikes just in at random. A big rucksack, a tent of some kind, a feeding bucket type of thing for a horse, a big rack of stuff. There's things on the roof. And it still doesn't look full, does it? It's absolutely massive. And this is just the short wheelbase. Let's check. Yeah, it's because you can always know by these. This area here is small. It's the short wheelbase, and they don't do a medium. The long wheelbase ones come out of about here. But yeah, that's lovely, that, having all that space in there. Nicely panelled out. Be great for putting the dogs in. Obviously, a little bit of ventilation. But yeah, great. I'll just shut that boot. Like I've said, though, it's one hell of a size boot. So when you're parked close to another vehicle behind you, don't expect to get that open. Inside, all the extras you'd want. Electric folding mirrors, heated mirrors, adjustable mirrors, electric windows. I'm sure this one, like I say, front fog lights, all the automatic lights, parking sensors, heated seats at the front, air conditioning, Bluetooth, 6-speed box, cruise control and speed limiter. It's got all the bits you want, you know, automatic lights and wipers, heated windscreen. So yeah, nice vehicle. In for MOT, we had this in, as you'll have seen, not too long ago for a full service, so it's pretty much okay. Nothing really to write home about with this one. So I'm just going to go at the garage now, show you what else we've got in. This is the one we've had dropped on, where he's a really nice fella, and I want to help him out. He wants a service and MOT. So only going to get an oil change because that's all it needs, and hopefully it's last year when we checked it out, it had all the full stainless steel exhaust on it because you couldn't get them at the time. I'll show you that when it goes up on the lift, but we'll come back to that one. That's just a simple oil change and a check over an MOT. So a delivery from Toyota there, well, Lexus, same company. So I want to show you this Qashqai. I forgot to show you yesterday. We had it all stripped down, but I didn't show you. The inside, there's actually been nothing wrong with them. What it is the lever for these shoes get tight, and the description of what the fault is that the brakes have been getting, basically when she leaves it, she comes back and they're sticking on. The cables are free, the shoes are in good condition. So, but the main thing is, what that is a little lever with a hinge just there, and what happens is they get tight. In fact, the ones that are in the boxes are sealed, I can't show you. So what it's doing is, when you're letting the handbrake off, they're not going back to the return position. So I've cleaned up the shoes, obviously lubed up and freed off the actual, it's just like a hinge basically, freed off that, cleaned up the discs on, this car must have been standing for a while. Just cleaned up the discs on their insides there because they were quite in a state, but there's no point in really going along the lines of changing them. So now that's done, but she claimed that the garage had been in previously and stripped it down, but all of these were completely seized. So nobody's definitely been into them whatsoever. So I don't know how they've said that they've been in and checked, because they most certainly haven't for a long time. So that's that done. This A4 all road, I think it's an A4. Yeah, an A4 all road. This is in for a service. The usual nonsense, like I've already showed you before. Stand around like a wally, waiting for the oil gauge to go up. That's it there now on the full. It has got a dipstick, but it's just not like kind of what you would normally kind of use. You can't. I've got the dipsticks for them, but they don't give you a proper reading. I'm not completely convinced to believe them. So this, again, as you can see, it just looks like an absolute explosion of pipes, wires, tubes, you name it. So again, Euro 6 stuff. Just be very, very careful of them. This, we've done the air filter, which was the usual nonsense. Not too bad, but still just an absolute joke to what it needed to be. And I've just kept it out here to show you. Absolutely filthy. Audi, genuine part. And the oil filter, the oil kind of wasn't a great deal better. So, the usual thing with the oil filter, couldn't get to it. It looks nice and easy to get to, but you've got this bottle in the way, and you can't take the bottle out without disconnecting all of these very brittle, expensive looking hoses. So it was just awkward from beginning to end, but that just seems to be the nature of them. So it's an oil and filter done, air filter. I've had the scanner on to reset the service light. So that's this one more or less done. I've checked all the, I've already showed you this car previously, all the fancy lights and stuff, which I would dread to think the cost of them. So now it's going to go up on the lift, give it a last check, wax oil a few of the pipes, and that's it done, really. I mean, I've showed you on the A6 a couple of weeks ago, just galore sensors, AdBlue injector, you name it. It's just getting really silly now on these new vehicles. So we're going to get this all built back up, and that's this one out the way, which was like kind of a last minute booking. And that's it. I'll show you underneath this old road, but it's nothing like fancy like air suspension or nothing. It's just a basic quattro with the adaptive suspension, which basically means there's little iron filings in the fluid in the shockers with a magnet on, and they can firm the suspension up and soften it off. It's like a lightweight version, probably a better in the long run, because it's less to go wrong, but nevertheless still expensive. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you the interior of this. Admit they are nice, these Audis, the interiors. You know, the brushed aluminium quattro. If you just flick that on, a nice kind of jewel kind of screen. And again, that's like the main like sat nav kind of thing on it. I'll just knock that off. Heated seats and all that, the DSG. You know, they are nice. There's no denying that on the interiors. So I'll come back to you shortly when I get that little car on the lift. There's nothing really to show on this Audi. It's just in for a service, and it was just MOT'd a few weeks ago, so there'll be nothing really to write home about. I think it's already on my previous vlogs. Qashqai will be out, and I've got to go and pick up the Sprinter van, which I'll show you when that comes in and what we're doing to it. Right, that's the Audi checked. It just shows you over a couple of months what can actually go wrong with a car. When this saying that a car's got a recent MOT, you've got to remember the MOT is only for one day is what you test it. The other 364 days of the year, anything can go wrong with your car. And this car, I'm saying that if you check, I think it's been a good couple of months now. This one's broken here, the back spring, and this other side It's like sort of up there. I don't know if you can just see the broken coils. They're like touching there. I'm not going to touch it too closely because obviously it's under pressure. Can I get round the back or not? Yeah, you see that bit there broken? There. So I'm just going to tell this, obviously he's been driving around in it, it's ideally not safe, but I'm just going to get him booked in as soon as possible. But with this being quite a new car, and it's the all-road, it's the off-road version, I'm not going to mess on with third-party springs. I'm just going to get a pair directly from the dealers, because trust us, any kind of crossover like this, if you go to the motor factors, they'll say, oh yeah, it's just an Audi A4 state, they'll fit. You strip everything down, with it being a quattro, it's got the drive shafts at the back. I know it's expensive, but when you're dealing with a car like this, I would probably say still worth, what, like one of these, 15 grand, maybe more. Definitely dealer only. So I'm going to price up with Audi rear springs and get them booked in as soon as possible. So yeah, it just shows you always worth, you don't expect them, but I do tend to find springs when one goes, the other one isn't far behind. So that's them done. The Qashqai, just coating them bottom arms, which I was showing you on the X-Trail. Just coating all this and then bottom arms, because you know what they go like. So that's just, again, just to keep on top of these things, because no doubt this woman will probably be a repeat customer, and we don't want to have to be dealing with them arms when they're falling to bits in a couple of years' time for MOT. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to go and get the Sprinter, have a look at this little Car Plus. I wasn't going to put this bit in, but I just thought I'd show you the importance of getting your car regularly checked. Don't just think, oh, get my car MOT'd every year so it's safe. I really do advise people to get it in every 3 to 4 months and just get a safety check done. A local garage shouldn't charge you much more than 20, 30 quid, something like that. Even just once every 6 months, have your MOT and then get a 6 monthly check. And it is saying that for these people who hardly use their cars, to people who do a lot of miles. It's the same, because cars like these springs break when they stand. So I'll catch you soon, so I need to get cracking. Hello and welcome back to the last part of Wednesday's vlog. Sorry I can't put much into the way of showing you what we're doing. It's just simply too busy this week, but I'll give you an insight to what we're doing. So, I've got this in, the Sprinter, which I was telling you about. I've got this for a week. It doesn't need a full service this time round. I've just done an oil and filter. I can't put the oil in yet because I've got all the box off because we're inspecting something else. I've stuck a new pollen filter in because the one that was in wasn't the best, and the heater motors on these suffer quite badly, so it's always worth keeping them replaced. What this has got is a problem with the power steering. There's a leak in there. It's got a leak, but we've been monitoring it for quite a few months and we just can't seem to get anything, so we're going to spend a bit of time clean it down, because when all this box is on, you can't see it. So I've obviously had the oil filter out, done that, new oil with new oils to go in, done the pollen filter, topped up all the levels. We're going to try and find out what's going on, if we can source the leak from that. So we've got that to do. The front tyre, if I can just show you on the edges, was getting really quite bad. It's a snow tyre. I can't show you properly what it is, getting quite near the limits. So it's got two new ones ordered, which are coming in like 4 days' time, of the 365 ones, which are these. They're like basically, they're not quite as aggressive as those snow tyres. They're like an all-year-round tyre. They're a lot better than a standard tyre, but they don't wear down as quick. What we found with the miles you was doing, it was just chewing them snow tyres off. But these are a good tyre, Generals as well. So it's going to be getting matching ones of those on the front on Tuesday. The back anti-roll bar bushes, if you remember, if you've been watching me vlogs quite a few months ago, we did the genuine Mercedes drop links on the back, but as well as that, there's bushes in the arm on the actual anti-roll bar itself, which we've got these to replace them with because they were getting quite worn and perished. And as you know, Lemforda genuine Mercedes parts, they've actually had, if you look there, see where it looks like something's been ground off at the top where my finger is there? That is the Mercedes logo that's just been ground off. So you're getting exactly the same Mercedes parts. I think they were really cheap as well. So they're to be done. But the main thing really is finding out what on earth's going on with this leak. It's just so difficult to find minor leaks, but it is regularly having to be topped up. So that's where we're at with this. So luckily we've got it for the week, so there's no great pressure onward to get it done. But like I've said, it's good to see that somebody keeps their van right. He gets it serviced when I tell him, and sure enough, touch wood, it's never given really any problems. So yeah, These medium wheelbase high top Sprinters are about the biggest I like to fit in here. They do fit in perfectly on the lift, no problem. It's a 4-ton lift, so this van's only 2-ton, so it's no bother. It's not even at half capacity. But yeah, that's that. We've got this little Cat Plus in. This again was a last minute drop off. Oil and filter, the Bosch filter that's gone into it, and it's an MOT. That's it. Not really going to go too far into it. Nothing really to show, but that's getting done and out the way. Let's go and have a quick look outside. The A4 all road, that's just gone. £350 for two rear. Wait, I'll tell a lie. For two rear springs, but it's got the little cups at the bottom which had split, especially at one side. But it needs done, and with these all roads are specific chassis, you don't mess with them. You've got to get original dealer stuff for them. So that's coming in a couple of, I think, end of next week to have them done. I'm running that up now to get rid up to the woman's house. I don't even know her name because it's a new customer. Hopefully that's all cured now. The handbrake all freed off, and they're picking this up tonight at 6 o'clock. The Transit. But guys, there's a twist why I'm getting rid of this cash guy. I may be getting another project, or I might sell it. I don't know. But I'll give you a clue. It's probably one of my least favourite cars. It's probably one of my least favourite engines. But I've worked on it from brand new, and I like the old guy who's got it. I'll leave it at one thing. It's a 1 litre 3-cylinder. So it's not my normal kind of car. But I've got a reason why I might either keep it myself or possibly move it on to somebody else. I'm just going to go up now to the old gentleman's house. I'm going to drop this Qashqai off in Bedlington, walk around to this guy's house and pick it up. Just get the keys and that and take it away. Because he's decided he's stopped driving. Unfortunately, his health has deteriorated badly. I've known him all my life. In fact, he lives across the road from my grandmother's. I've known this guy all my life. And it was not very nice the other day when he rang us up. I don't know if I mentioned this in last week's vlog. And he just said, Dan, he says, come and get the car. I'm not driving anymore. I was like, oh. And I've spoken to his daughter and that, and she goes, basically, he can barely get down the stairs. He's in a wheelchair and stuff. So, not good times, not a nice situation, but he wants us to get rid of his car. I don't know. I'm debating whether to keep it myself. But I'll explain that when I get it. I'll keep it within the weekly vlog, so we'll see. I don't even know if I should keep it in the weekly vlog. To add that in, it's going to flip it. No, actually, I'm not. I'm not going to add it in. I'm going to do a separate video on that and upload that as a new project if I get it. Possibly. I don't know. Don't quote us on that. I'm going to go and get it now, and then we'll see. And we'll let you guys let us know if you like it or not. But if I leave it in the middle of a vlog, and if not, people watch it all the way through, which I hope you do, because I'm not doing this for the sake of it, guys. I hope you all bloody watch it from the start to the end. But we'll see. I'll get it. I might do a separate video on it and actually upload it as a midweek one, like tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. But I'll get back to you when I get underway. We'll get the Sprint on the lift. And see how things go. And my head is just spinning. I just want to get this sorted. The school traffic's died down now. I'm going to crack on and go up there, because I'll probably knock on my grandma's door since she lives directly opposite, out of Cub Manners, and just say hello to her. So yeah, crack on. I'll catch you later.